For those of you who are new to stuff like this and wondering why we're blocking the road and why we need such big changes, I'll keep it brief. We are facing the collapse of civilization and our politicians don't seem to care. Scientists say we have to stop carbon emissions and we have to stop destroying nature. They say if we don't do this, we will face climate catastrophe and the breakdown of our life support systems. The changes we need are urgent. By 2030, in just 11 years, we need to have fundamentally transformed our economies and our societies. You'd think this stark message would snap our politicians into action. But rather than act to stop climate breakdown, they are complicit in it. They are complicit in it by giving tax breaks and handouts to fossil fuel companies. They are complicit by cutting clean energy. They are complicit by building more roads and poisoning the air we breathe. They are complicit by expanding airports and speeding up carbon emissions at precisely the moment we need to bring carbon emissions crashing down. They are complicit by allowing pesticides to cover the land. And they look away as wildlife collapses and as insect populations crash. Insects pollinate our food. Without insects, we starve. In the face of this grave failure, it falls to us, the people, to push for the changes they don't want to make. Yeah. And the way we're doing that is through non-violent civil disobedience, just like today. So we thank the police as well for helping us to facilitate this event. Because the climate crisis is going to fall on us equally, and so we are truly all in it together. Extinction Rebellion launched last October, and in November, thousands of people blocked 5 central London bridges in the biggest act of civil disobedience seen in the UK for decades. Just 4 months later, this movement has spread across the world to hundreds of countries, and it is growing by the day. And there's a basic reason why so many people are now willing to undertake civil disobedience, and it's because nothing else has worked. We've tried handing out leaflets, we've tried writing to our MPs, we've tried lobbying our MPs, we've tried marches, we've tried elections, we've tried asking nicely if they will please stop the collapse of civilization, and they just ignore us. And what have we got in return? Failure, abdication, and abandonment. Because let's be straight, the failure to make the changes we need is nothing less than the willful abandonment of future generations. That is a fact. And it's shameful. And that abandonment was clear to see this week when just a handful of MPs turned up to Parliament for the first debate on climate breakdown in more than 2 years. This debate was days after a winter heat wave and days after wildfires in February. Now, if wildfires in February couldn't make them pay attention, what will? And that's where we come in. Because our governments have placed the profits of oil companies ahead of the safety of the people. And by doing this, they have lost their moral authority to tell us what to do. And they no longer deserve our compliance. So we hope that for many of you, today will be the start of something amazing. We hope you will join Extinction Rebellion and work to give this country and the planet the future it deserves. Because it really is up to us. Our so-called leaders are cowards who call themselves patriots, but they feel nothing for this land. They will not do what needs to be done. We can change the system. It has happened many times before in the past. But system change has never been handed to the people, it has always been demanded. And we will demand system change. So if you want to get involved, we have a few things coming up, and I think people are going to talk a little bit about this later. But this event is really to build awareness ahead of International Rebellion Day, which begins on the 15th of April. And that is going to see a coordinated series of actions around the world. And the focus for those actions in the UK is going to be in London. It's going to be an amazing week, so we hope many of you will join us for that.
Yeah!
So speak to me or one of my fellow rebels to talk about what's coming up and how you can get involved. So that's it for the kind of the who we are and the why we're here stuff. And I'm just going to read a very short poem. February heat wave, wildfires raging. How much breakdown can she take in? Welcome to the future, no left, no right, can't orientate. To the burn, to the rage, to the collapsing rate. Like a Mobius strip on the point that tips. Faster than expected, branded on my head. Because she came down rough and now enough is enough. Ebbing away that hourglass sand, we gather in streets to protect our land that's torn and wrenched by cowards unfeeling who just want to make bank, just want to get hench. Because the business of extraction, boy, that's a man's job. But the business of extinction, son, that's for everyone. And business is booming. The business of extinction, son, that's for everyone. And business is booming. But after all the politicians they bought and all the lies that we were taught, all their cash will be for naught. The precautionary principle, pff, what a mouthful. Why learn that in grad school? So the call goes out, though the hour is late, a clarion call to confront our fate. Together we'll lock, we'll grip, we'll sit, we'll stand, we'll rise for rebellion held up by all hands. Thank you.